Councillor Wright, I can also mention it to the gallery as well, not the gallery, the media. But for the gallery, I think most of you are here for the Roxy one, is that right? It's going to be towards the end, unfortunately. All right, we can't bring it forward. But we're starting at 6:30, and I'll try and mention the same thing to the people on the TV as well. Let's go. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And now I call Leeton Shire Council June Ordinary Meeting, Council meeting. At what time we got? We got 6:32. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the councillors, staff and community members and people in the gallery. It's good to see you. We don't normally have the gallery full, so it's great to see this. And thank you very much. So we're starting. Now please stand, and Councillor Tyne will lead us through the civic prayer, and Councillor Wright will state the acknowledgement of country.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for and ever. Amen.
Yes.
Leeton Shire Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri people and their continued impact on our community. We acknowledge their connection to the land, water and sky. We acknowledge all Aboriginal people who have made the Leeton Shire their home. As such, we pay our respects to all Aboriginal elders, past, present and emerging of our shire.
Thank you very much. Can you all be seated now? Thank you. General Manager, are there any apologies or council attending the meeting via video conference tonight?
Mr Mayor, there is no apologies this evening. We have all councillors in attendance. Councillor Sarah Tiffin is dialing in remotely this evening, given the change to the Code of Meeting Practice.
Good, thank you very much. Can I have a move and a second that, please? Mover by Councillor Mayton, second by Councillor Morris. Thank you very much. Any discussion? All in favour? Say aye. Those against? I'll put the motion as carried. Thank you. Moving on to the confirmation of minutes from the matters arising. The recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Tuesday the 26th of May 2026 as circulated be taken and read as confirmed. Do we have a move and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Edwards, seconded by Councillor Wright. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. There's no procedure of motion this evening. Therefore, councillors, are there any disclosure of interest in the evening? Please stand and when you declare any disclosure of interest. Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to disclose a less than significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest in item number 8.9. The reason being is that I'm an executive member of one of the clubs, and which is represented on the committee, and the chair is also one of my best mates. So as it's just the adoption, like the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting, I'll stay and vote on the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Any other disclosure? Councillor Tyne.
Mr Mayor, I'll declare a significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest with respect to them, a member of the Leeton Ratepayers Association, which will be discussed later on.
Thank you, Councillor Tyne. Right, any more? Councillor Wright first.
I'd like to declare a non-significant non-pecuniary interest in that I'm also a member of the Leeton Shire Residents and Ratepayers Association.
Right, good. All right, and I'll go to Councillor Kidd, and I think Councillor Edwards is going to stand. Are you? All right.
Thank you, Mr. I also will declare a non-significant non-pecuniary interest as I'm a member of Leeton United Football Club Committee, and I'm also on the Sports Precinct Committee as well. Right.
Right, Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to make an amendment to my conflict of interest. I'd just like to tack on to that one that I'm also a member of the Leeton Ratepayers Association, and but it is less than significant non-pecuniary conflict of interest. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Just for the gallery and for the people watching, when we as councillors feel that we've got a conflict of interest, we volunteer that we have a conflict and we stand up ourselves and declare it. It's purely up to the council themselves. No one pressurises them. They make their own decision. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, so moving on to the Mayoral Minute on page 5, is it, right? My recommendation notes and endorses support of the National General Assembly emergency motion to Australian Parliament calling for a fairer funding for local government. This is our FAG grant. It's very, very important. All the councils right through New South Wales and Australia, we were on the weekend, myself, the General Manager and the Deputy Mayor, were at Canberra, and all the associations are asking the federal government to go back to the 1% federal assistance grants. So it's very important that they recognise that all councils are struggling with infrastructure. They collect most of the money, and they pass the money down via the state government to us. So it's very important. So I think it's very important that I had a Mayoral Minute on that one. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Carried. Those against? Thank you very much. Moving on to reports from Council, update of the Code of Meeting Practice on page 8 of the agenda. There is a recommendation placed forward by the staff. If anybody wants to move that, a second, move with Councillor Edwards, seconded by Councillor Tynan. Any discussion? Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I rise in support of this motion. I believe this is a positive step forward because while today's motion is largely an administrative one, I think it's worth acknowledging why we're here. So the 2025 Model Code of Conduct practice was, in my view, unworkable and represented a step backwards for democratic local government. Councils are elected by their communities to represent them. The idea that elected representatives could be removed from the chamber so readily, preventing them from speaking or voting on behalf of their constituents, is what I believe fundamentally undermines the democratic principle. Good meeting conduct is important, but so too is ensuring elected representatives are able to fulfil their roles that the community entrusts them to pursue. Now, I do have to admit, as someone on the Conservative side of politics, I never imagined I'd be standing here thanking the Greens, but I give credit where it's due, as they moved the disallowance motion in the Legislative Council that has led us to today's motion. I also note that the members of the Coalition were highly critical of the 2025 Model Code, recognising many of the same concerns. That said, I don't believe we should pretend the reinstated code is perfect, after this motion is put, if it's reinstated. The previous model is certainly an improvement on what it will replace it, but I don't believe true democracy in local government has yet been achieved. I remain of the view that further reforms to both the Code of Meeting Practice and the Code of Conduct are needed to better protect the ability of elected councillors to debate, vote and represent the people who elected them, while still maintaining order and respect in the chamber. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Anybody against that motion? All right, I've declared that I'd like to put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you very much so. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to 8.2, adoption of the 2026-27 Suite of Integrated Planning and Reporting, IPR, documents on page 55 of your agenda. There's a recommendation put forward to us here. Just 2 seconds while I just get some information about this. Right. I'll just read everybody the recommendation that the council adopts the recommendation. It talks about delivery program, annual budget, revenue policy, fees and charges, long-term financial plans, and specific asset management. Councillors, I believe there's some items that someone would like to talk about. We might pull them items out. Could you just declare first, Councillor Tynan?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to page 219, which relates to the fees applicable to the golf club.
All right, you want to take a, we'll pull it out, right?
And Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, the fees and charges are embedded in the third bullet, which is the revenue policy.
The amendment is that the proposed 26-27 fee increase for Leeton Golf Club be increased by 4.11% to adjust for the zero fee increase they experienced in the 25-26 financial year.
Councillor Tyler, I think you just mentioned that. Does any other people want to put forward a section that we're going to discuss after when we pass everything else? Right. Yeah.
Can I just clarify, nobody's put a motion forward yet?
No, there's no seconder. We're just asking those councillors, if you feel there's a revenue part of the fees and charges that you want to pull out to one side and discuss with all the councillors, could you please tell us now? And then we'll go ahead with the rest of the fees and charges. So we've got golf one over here. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mine is regarding the green fees at the golf course. It is just a number of small adjustments by 50 cents regarding the member and visitor and twilight comp. It's a small increment. We increased the green fees by $2, as we know, because we
Councillor Morris, that's okay. We'll debate it later.
Okay.
I just want to know. There's two items, right?
Did you want to know what numbers?
What page will we be on? What page?
220.
Yeah. So what we do, councillor, if you're happy, councillors, we'll discuss everything else, right? And then we'll come back to those two items. I think yours was the fees, I think,
Correct.
ground fees. And
That's green
councillor
fees.
Tynan, yours was a more general one, right? Yeah, we'll discuss them as we go through.
And Mr Mayor, sorry, could I please correct what I said earlier? While fees and charges are part of the revenue policy, in the resolution they actually identified separately. So it's the fees and it's the fourth bullet point that both councillors are raising, not the third, as I said earlier.
Oh, right.
Sorry about that.
Just a bullet point. Right, good. All right, councillors, what we debating are the other bullet points. Is any? I want to move in a second of that, please. Moved by Councillor Wright, second by Councillor Morris. Right, any discussion on that?
Sorry, Mr Mayor, can I just ask what page that was on, just because this is quite a large
Page
document.
55. Okay. What you'll find, there'll be a few attachments.
Yeah, no,
one
I'm
after
just
each other.
double checking because that's such a large document and
Yeah.
we've been moved up from Councillor Tynan's suggestion. I've just got lost in that document, how far it was.
All right,
Thank you.
just give you some time. Councillor Wright, you got a question?
I know I'd like to speak to the motion.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'd just like to acknowledge the enormous amount of work that council employees have done to have these reports ready and to adopt. And it's an enormous amount of compliance paperwork. A lot of it does serve good purpose, but it is all mostly imposed from above with severe consequences for us all if we're not on time. So it can be a stressful time of year. It's not just end of financial year, it's the end of governance year, and it's the end of grants acquittal year, and everything at once. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody want to talk, Councillor Wright, anyone want to talk against the motion? Right, I might just add myself, look, I might just clarify for those people in the gallery and also people at home. We're talking about the delivery program for 2025 to 2029 and operational plan for 2026 to 2027. We're also talking about the annual budget statement 2026 to 2027. We're also talking about the revenue policy from 2026 to 2027. We're talking about the fees and charges 2026 to 2027, long-term financial plan 2026 to 2036, with base case only in front of us, and strategic asset management plan 2026 to 2036. The council have had this policies in front. It's been out to the public for 28 days, and we're coming back tonight to discuss it. And we've got a mover and a seconder. I'll put the motion.
Mr Mayor, could I just clarify, please? It was the staff admin's understanding that fees and charges were removed from this discussion, from this vote now, and will be discussed separately afterwards.
Or I thought it was those particular item of the golf club.
I think all fees and charges.
Mr Mayor, I think it would be difficult to,
All right,
it would be difficult to approve the fees and charges
Less the,
without those items, so, yeah.
all right, so we,
Thanks for clarifying that.
all right.
But yes, if the mayor's all right, it would be easier to just remove fees and charges and do that separately.
All right, we'll do that.
My motion was put on the understanding that that was removed since it was crossed out on the draft. So I don't believe a motion has to be re-put or anything.
All right, good. Thank you. Rightio. So that was just a statement from me who should retract it. All right. I just wanted to clarify to the general public and the gallery what we're talking about. We all know we're talking about ourselves.
Mr.
All right,
Mayor,
so we had to move.
we are dealing with a lot tonight,
I
so
know,
it's
yeah.
understandable.
All right, we're moving to seconder, and we had a speaker for, no speaker against. So I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you very much. Now we're going to discuss the item 4, fees and charges. Page 212. Right. Now I need a just 2 secs. Yeah, good, good. Well, I'm thinking if we move and second the actual fees and charges, and then the amendment is added to that for that particular item.
Good plan, yeah.
Yeah? Right, I need a move and a second for fees and charges. Moved by Councillor Tynan, second by Councillor Mayton. And now is someone going to put forward an amendment to that?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to the fees and charges associated with Leeton Golf Course. That is on page 219. Specifically, the motion is that the 26-27 fee increase for Leeton Golf Club be increased by 4.11% to adjust for their zero fee increase in the 25-26 financial year.
Right, do you have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. I'll go ahead and discuss it.
So, Mr Mayor, I think it's a general expectation that all people using the facilities in Leeton, resources that the council provides, will be paying their fair and equal increase of fee every year. Oddly, I voted last year for the golf club to not receive a fee. I went back and I tried to figure out how I could let that happen, and it turns out that in the documents that went through, the preceding years of 24, 25 to 26, 27, or the appropriate ones, weren't mentioned. So there was just a fee which I assumed had contained the percentage increase, but there was no indication as to whether there had or had not been a percentage increase applied to that. So the absence of the column preceding the proposed changes was not there. That's how I let slip through a 0% fee increase for the golf club. Consequently, I'm suggesting when I look at item 357, 3830, the Leeton's Famptons Rugby Union and the Yanko Moon Rugby League Club, those first three items had an average of 4.11% increase. So if the council can come up with an appropriate increase to compensate for the previous years, I request that that be added on to the current year's increase for the golf club.
All right, we had a move and a second for the amendment. Does anybody speak against the amendment? Councillor Mayton. Councillor Tynan, can you turn your...
I don't want to necessarily speak against it, but I just want to clarify that the increase that you're asking for is across all of those fees. So the, ordinary pensioner, junior. Are you looking at each line, or Councillor Tynan?
Point of clarification.
It's a generic increase based upon what I've observed in other sporting club uses of facilities.
So, Mayton, we got the question answered. Oh, good. So I'm looking for someone to speak against the motion. I've got a red light over here. Councillor Morris.
Oh, thank you, Mr Mayor. We've already had an increase, and I don't know what the percentage is to date. So even on those annual memberships and things, I think I have last year's. We've already had some increase. So I would need to understand the figures that you're referring to in the increase in the membership to fully see them before us. But I also, Mr Mayor, have a couple of issues with some of just on the green fees, not the annual memberships. I'm more than happy to leave them as they are.
All right, you're speaking against the motion as it is. I'm looking for a speaker for the, I had one against, I need one against. Sorry, I got one against, one for. Anybody, speaker for? No, a speaker against? A comment, Councillor Keith.
Sorry, Councillor Tynan, that may be the case, but it was discussed at a workshop before the meeting in quite a bit of depth, as I remember, last year. And if there was an oversight in the documentation, it wasn't that it wasn't discussed. It was actually debated at length amongst councillors, and my recollection is that you were there. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Right of reply to your amendment, and then we'll go to a vote.
So, unfortunately, many members of the public were not at that meeting, and the members of the public can only refer to council documents to understand what is going on. So, the meeting is irrelevant to this point. It is the information that the public can see at the front of the documents that's relevant.
Thank you, Councillor Tyler. We only have one, when you're speaking for or against, you can only speak once, unfortunately. Councillor Wright, you asked a question?
Yeah, I just have clarification. I'm just
Clarification.
confused. You mentioned 4.1%, Councillor Tynan. And I'm just wondering, you have some figures there. I wondered if you'd like to maybe talk us through them to sort of just give us an outline of your reasoning.
I think he has given the reason.
Well, I just thought I'd like the more detail, because he's written a lot of notes there, so maybe he could address that in his right of reply.
Yeah, he just had his right reply. I'm going to put the motion. No, the amendment.
Yes, Mr Mayor, so it's for adopting the fees and charges with that amendment of 4.11% increase on all the golf fees.
We understand the question. You can do more amendments afterwards. So those in favour of the amendment, say aye. Those against? All right. I declare the amendment lost. Is there any more amendments?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mine is just regarding some of the green fees. In particular, on page 220.
Councillor Morris, have you seconded?
Oh, sorry, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Nardi is the seconder for the amendment. So we're adopting the fees and charges with this amendment.
Yes, and it's just regarding the green fees. In particular, cost centre 838, 840, 844, 845, 848, 849, 852, 853 and 855. My amendment is just to alter them to bring them down to the rounded figure. Instead of most of them are sitting at about $18.50, to bring them down to $18. My reasoning, it's a small token action for an increase that is already going to be $1.50 per round, whether it's 9 hole or 18 holes, to look after our locals that especially play with that social or twilight golf competition. I know it will have a small impact on the budget, but it also, we are at the stage where the golf course is getting to the stage of being able to hold its own, which has been what the intention of this council has been about for a lot of years and pushed very hard. I would hate now at the 11th hour to be detrimental to decrease the rounds of golf. I have some late figures of the last 3 months of April, May, June to 2026, and it has been a huge increase on last year. I think the build of the golf club house has obviously helped the golf course, And that's what we want to see. We want to see their rounds increase, which means an increased income. So instead of putting it up by $2 for each of those rounds, I'm proposing it only goes up to $1.50 and we round it down to the neat dollar. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. So we understand the amendment.
Mr. Mayor, for the sake of administration, would Councillor Morris please read out the numbers again?
Certainly.
Just because they didn't involve all of them, so if you wouldn't mind reading them out, we can record them.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you.
So 837 and 838,
Okay.
840, 844, 845, 848, 849, 852, 853 and 855.
Thank you.
And they're our our member social golfers, our twilight golfers, our veteran golfers, our Wednesday whackers and our sports social. And I think they're the numbers that we need to keep at our golf course, and it's the rounds of games that they play in that year that are...
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Thank you.
So thank you.
So that was clarification of the amendment. Any query of that amendment, councillors? Councillor Wright.
Councillor Morris, this would be a proposed reduction in the standard increase that's already proposed?
Via the mayor, yep.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. But there's already a proposal of a $2 increase. I'm just making it a $1.50 increase.
Okay.
So it's having an increase on these are the green fees,
Yeah,
not the memberships,
right.
just the green fees.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Councillor Edwards. Sorry, Councillor Wright. Sorry, Councillor Edwards. All right, Councillor Morris, could you just... so I'm looking for someone to speak against that amendment. If we haven't got anybody speaking against the amendment, anybody speak for the amendment? If not, I'll give a right of reply to Councillor Morris and then we'll have a vote. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, Council has supported the golf course now for over a long period of time, and the aim has always been to let them stand alone and run their golf course. We're at that stage where we've seen improvements each year in their income and the reduction in their expenses, and we're at that stage of being able to hand the golf course back to those. As I mentioned, the golf clubhouse and those that contributed and have been a part of that have obviously had a substantial impact on the amount of rounds that have been played, and we've definitely seen an increase. And so we've got to the stage now in the short term where we can see that the golf course will be able to manage themselves without council needing to support it each year, which is the optimum place of where we want to be. I would just like to secure that position in the number of rounds played and keep us competitive with our neighbouring shires in the cost of rounds played. So that's the purpose of my amendment.
Thank you, Cameron. Now, we're debating the amendment, right? And if the amendment gets lost if it gets passed, then the amendment becomes a motion. At the moment, we're talking about the amendment. So the amendment is as fees and charges with those changes proposed by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Nardi, I think it was. So we all understand what we're voting for. Those in favour, say aye. Those against? Good. I declare the amendment becomes a motion. Those in favour of the motion, aye. Those against? I declare it carried. Thank you. Moving on to the adoptions of page 8.3, page 348. The making of rates and charges for 2026-2027. Yeah, 8.3. There is a recommendation put forward by the staff. Do I have a move and a seconder for that, or an alternate one? I'm on the right page. Am I? Good. I did a move by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Tyne. Thank you.
I apologise, Mr. Mayor. What page is it?
348.
I got 348 on my agenda. Is that right?
Just on your contents, right there.
Yeah. All right, I've got to move in a second. I got moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Tynan, that the recommendation put forward by the staff, ordinary rates for residential, farmland, business general and business industrial. Do I have any discussion on that? Any clarification? So the mover, would you want to say anything to that? If not? No, you're okay.
I'm fine,
Right, good.
Mr. Mayor.
Anybody against that motion? All right, I see there's no vote for or against it. I'll put the motion. Those in favour? All right, those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you. Moving on to page, just clarify if I got it right here. Page 354. Investment reports for May 2026, 8.4. There is a recommendation that the council notes the information contained in the investment report for May 2026. Do I have a move and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Morris, second by Councillor Nardi. Any discussion? Councillor Morris.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I still had my light on as well. No, just that great to see tracking ahead of budget and well done for the temporary water sales that have occurred this year that we've been able to pick up $500,000, which is a bonus. So well done to all involved. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Good, thank you. So anybody is speaking against the motion? No? All right, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Say aye. Those against? I declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to Audit, Risks and Improvement Committee, ARIC, 8.5, meeting 3rd of June 2026 on page 367 of your agenda. The recommendation is, as put forward in front of you there, that Council notes the minutes of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee held on Wednesday the 3rd of June 2026. Point 2, notes the Chairperson's report to the Mayor and Councillors for the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting held on Wednesday the 3rd of June 2026. Do I have a move and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Morris, second by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion?
Yes,
Councillor
Mr.
Morris.
Mayor. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, thank you. I sit on the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee. It was a very a long meeting and covered a lot of topics. We were able to meet our new RSD auditors for Leeton Shire Council for this year, and especially the new lead. And I'm sure our Director of Finance will have will get to know him very well. And I hope that the management letter has been issued by this point from when our meeting was held. I did find one of the New South Wales audit findings, office findings for 2025 were discussed. And one of the areas of vulnerabilities for us and every council in the state, actually probably across Australia, is regarding AI policies, especially in regard to external suppliers and associated approach and the risks associated with that. So that's something obviously the Audit Office is very mindful of, and I'm sure our policies will be, the guidelines and policies will be put in place to tackle that issue. One of the things, Mr Mayor, I would like to say that I was a little bit disturbed to learn, and that was that some of our council staff at times are subject to abuse and unreasonable requests, and that was listed in as one of our risks. This is certainly not the Leeton Shire Council workplace that I'm advocating for, and as councillors, I think it's our role that we should certainly be supporting and promoting improved public behaviour towards our staff who are serving all our shire. And to have that have to be written in a report, I found was not something that I was very proud to see under our Leeton Shire Council banner. Another matter that came to attention was the ARIC, and we're currently advocating we get an internal audit function in place within our shire, and that's part of our 26-27 plan. And that'll be worked on and looked at the next meeting coming up. There was also discussion held on the shell of our 2026 financial statements, which our chair was going to cast her eye over for review. and also some discussion on the capitalisation of our assets and our work in progress account clearance by 30 June. I would like to just again acknowledge the calibre of the people that we have that sit on our committee, and we are very grateful to have someone that's been is a fellow of the CPA Australia and a past state president of that kind of increment, and is quite humbling to have her, and the interest and expertise that the three panel members all bring and the interest they show to our council takes us to the next level into the future. So I very much welcome. I hope all councillors have read the letter that the chair has addressed to the mayor, just giving a summary of each meeting, and I think you can see the calibre of and the standard that they've set, and have great faith in their expertise and their suggestions that they're able to make to us. So thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. I might just add my thanks to yourself, Councillor Morris. It's a big job, this audit committee, and all to the staff, and the calibre of the audit committee, which is outside of council, the calibre who do about 28 other councils, and we stand very good amongst those councillors. Councillor Kidd, did you want to say something?
Yes. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I agree. Actually, I unfortunately couldn't tune in on this one, and I never thought I'd actually say I'd enjoy an audit meeting, but I do find them very informative. My question was to whoever's best placed to answer the question. What will the nature of the internal auditor be? Will that be similar to when we had an internal auditor previously? Going back about 10 years, probably. Yeah. There.
Red lights, everybody.
Oh, sorry, turned off.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think there may be a little bit of confusion. We're not looking to put in an internal audit position in council. What we do is we have budget in the annually set aside budget, and we contract the services of external providers. What the new ARIC, well, they're not so new anymore, but what our current ARIC committee has recommended is that instead of going out for every single audit separately, that we rather contract one company to do all our audits, so that it takes away it makes it more efficient than going out with separate, looking for separate quotes for every single audit. So that's the change in direction, but it's the same budget as we've had before and still externally done.
Yes, I wasn't quite sure whether it was the nature of the previous internal audit, which of course preceded ARIC in its two different forms. Thank you.
Thank you, Kid. We had some discussion. We had a mover of the motion. We had a speaker for. Anybody speak against this particular motion? No? All right, then I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Say aye. Those against? I declare it's carried. Moving on to item 8.6, adoption of a Disability Inclusion and Action Plan 2026-2030 on page 380 of the agenda. The recommendation is that Council adopts the Leeton Shire Disability Inclusion Action Plan for 2026 for 2030. Do we have a mover? Councillor Wright, Councillor Edwards, move the second. Any discussion? You like to speak for it? Yes.
Yes, I'd just like to thank the council staff who were involved, and to thank all of the stakeholders who participated. There were many different opportunities for engagement. This was active stakeholder engagement, not just a tick and flick. I was at some of the events that I was able to go to and meet with people from the disability community and their supporters and their carers. I have a disability myself, and it's really great to see the social model of disability being thoroughly and genuinely approached in our policy as a as a shire. We are ahead of many much bigger organisations in having a disability and inclusion action plan, so we should be proud of ourselves. And this is also going to support the kinds of funding applications and other things that we'll be putting in, no doubt, over the coming years. That's going to help us build a more accessible Leeton from a physical and social sense. So everything to make Leeton is accessible costs money, but we need the paperwork to back it up for how, and I think this shows how sincere we are. So thank you, and in particular, thanks to Manager Sarah Stewart, who really got run off her feet doing this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Matum.
Just a comment and really just echoing what Councillor Wright said there. It was interesting to note that we do have 712 people living with a disability in our shire, which makes up more than 6% of our population. And the fact that we were able to engage over 100 people through that process, I think capturing that does help us put forward a disability action plan that gives us a more accessible Leeton community and something that those with a disability are more, it gives them more access to social inclusion also. So well done to Sarah and to all of those people that took part.
Thank you, Councillor Matum. I'm letting people discuss, well, not discuss, I don't think there's anybody against it, so I'm letting people speak for it. So, did you, Councillor Edwards? No? Councillor Morris? Councillor Morris? Did I miss you?
Yeah.
I think Councillor Tyler got him first. Where you go, Councillor Tyler?
Mr Mayor, I just have a question about some of the feedback. There's a lady, it's on page 383, the lady who walks her child around. Has council checked out places around the library and down here where possibly a zebra crossing could go? I was quite surprised to see that and realised when I checked it that there was no crossing in those areas to those facilities.
Councillor Tyler, that's a question for the Mayor to Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The Director of Operations is... Are you going to talk about the warrants?
Yeah. The Director at the moment is off, but we're going to our Manager. Manager?
Mr Mayor, so we are rightly investigating the options of a zebra crossing near the library. There's actually some legislation in the streets so we're looking at doing a pedestrian study around that area to then be able to put a zebra crossing if it meets the requirements.
Okay, Councillor Tyler, that was a question. Any more discussion? Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Those yellow highlights indicate what's been changed since the draft went out. So these are the bits that were altered or changed or amended, but when it gets put on the website, the yellow will come off.
Same question I had, Councillor Morris. I rang through. No, that's okay. Look, we've had a move in the second. We had a bit of a discussion. I can't see anybody against the particular motion, so I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? I declare it carried. 8.7, Council Policy Review, June 2026, on page 404 of the agenda. That's Council Policy Review. The recommendation is that Council endorses the draft revised tree management policy for public exhibition for 28 days, and if no substantial feedback is received, the policy will be considered as adopted. Do you have a move and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Maton. Any discussion?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just remind me what substantive feedback will bring you, Mr Mayor, to the General Manager. Can I just get a reminder of what substantive feedback looks like? Just because I'm not really that comfortable to, continuation of, there is feedback, but like, what's the definition of substantial?
All right, question to the General Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Substantive feedback is if it's feedback that's relevant to the policy and is more than just there's a typo on page 5. So if it is a suggestion that is indicating there should be a change in the policy direction, it would definitely be brought back to council. If it's just a very minor change or if it's irrelevant to the policy entirely, then it's more administratively efficient just to adopt it.
So Edward, can I add, we do put these out for 28 days, as you know, and sometimes we get a lot, and sometimes we get 1 or 2. We try our best to get this information out to everybody, and we do ask everybody, gallery and also people back at home, please to put some submissions in if you feel like you want to do that. Councillor Kidd, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is a very significant policy. We need to plan for the replacement of our tree cover, our shade within our urban areas, and that's important from a climate change point of view. But also many of our trees were planted 100 years ago and are getting old. So having a strategy and a framework that we can use and go forward with is significantly important. And I think this will actually, it won't be apparent and obvious early, but given 20, 30 years down the track, I might not be here, this will have had a significant effect on the character of Leeton. We've also discussed this both at community meetings in Yanco and Whitton, and those two communities were very excited by the thought of improving their tree coverage and their public amenity. So I thoroughly recommend this report to council and the community. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kidd. That was a speaker for it. Can everybody hear me? Am I here? It's not. It's red light's on.
Doesn't seem to be.
Hello? So, Councillor Kidd had just spoke for the motion. Is anybody against the motion? I think we can go forward and vote on this. All people in favour of the motion, say aye. Those against? Thank you very much. Hello? Oh, back on again. Now we're going to move on to 8.9, Leeton Sports Precinct Advisory Committee on page 468. Did we have disclosure of interest here, I think? Did we?
Mr Mayor, you missed 8.8.
Have I? Thank you very much. Good. On item 8.8 is page 424, Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference 2026, Council attendance and motion on page 424. Recommendation is, traditionally we've had the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor are the voting delegates to the Local Government Conference in Wollongong, and the recommendation is in front of you there. In regard to authorisation for councillors to go. Do you have a move or a second for that? Moved by Councillor Nardi, second by Councillor Morris. Any discussion? Councillor Edward. Right, that's a question. Question to the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. If one of the two voting delegates were not to be able to attend, council can be advised as soon as we know to find a replacement. But on this particular occasion, there is a recommendation here that any councillors who are interested to attend are being invited to attend. So it's not just the mayor and the deputy mayor. Anyone with an interest to attend, there is sufficient budget to attend as well.
General Manager?
We would definitely advise all of council and see who was available to replace.
Working backwards. We'll work out who's available to go. Look, I think one or two have been to the local government. I think Councillor Morris has, Councillor Tynan has, and Councillor Wright has as well. And it's very good. Some councils take all 9 councillors along with them. It's a fair bit of money, I know, but it's very, very interesting, very well worthwhile, and you learn a lot, network, know people. That's good. We live so far away, unfortunately, but the invitation is there for other councillors to go along. Traditionally, it's usually the mayor and the deputy mayor do the delegation for voting. But like you say, it can happen, and then we'll just pick one amongst ourselves. Is that okay, Councillor? Yeah, that's good. All right, good. So we have a motion in front of us, 4 points. We've had a discussion. We had to move in a seconder. Anybody speaking against this motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? I declare it's carried. Thank you. Right, moving on to the item 8.9, Leeton Sports Precinct Advisory Committee on page 468. I did say, did we have some...
I am a non-pecuniary, non-significant.
But staying and voting, right. Councillor Knighty, right, good. All right, good. So the recommendation is in front of us, councillors, that the council notes for information the minutes of the Leeton Sports Precinct Advisory Committee meeting held on the 20th of May 2026. Do you have a move and a seconder? Right, so moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Knighty. Any discussion? Councillor Kidd, do you want to speak to it? You're speaking to it, right? Thank you, Councillor Kidd. Anyone want to speak against this motion? No? All right. I can't see any opposition, so we might go straight to the motion itself. All those in favour, say aye. Those against? I declare it carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to 8.10, post-event report for 2025. Leeton Outback Band Spectacular on page 472 of your agenda. There's a recommendation put forward here by the staff. If you're happy, someone to move that. Moved by Councillor Maton, second by Councillor Kidd. Any discussion? You'd like to speak for it, Councillor Maton?
Yeah, just to speak for it, I think this type of event speaks to the volunteer work that we have in the community, the people that put their hands up to run these types of things. Hats off to Ruth Tate and her crew of helpers. We got in the report, you know, that hotels were utilised, the cafes that they went to, they broke down, you know, the places that they went to where they spent their money. The numbers aren't massive, it's not a, you know, destination event, but I think it doesn't take away from that value. It's a great performance on the night. It includes members of our community who, you know, have that musical outlet. And just, yeah, it includes all those volunteer hours, so well done to them for that, and I hope that it continues for many years because it brings people into our shire, which has that flow on into our local economy. Hopefully they're spending money in the shops and all of those sorts of wonderful things.
Thank you, Councillor Matum. We've had discussion. We have a mover for it. Does anybody want to speak against this motion? I see there's no opposition, so we might go straight to moving the motion. Those in favour say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Yes, I agree. It's very fantastic for the community. Very good. Moving on to 8.11, post-event report 2026 Australia Day celebration on page 491. There is a recommendation put forward by the staff, and that is council received the information for 2026 Australia Day post-event report. Do you have a move and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Nardi, second by Councillor Edwards. And any discussion? No. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate all the winners of the day, but certainly all the nominees. They are the backbone of our community. They're all community groups, whether as individuals or representing their club or their group. And that's what makes our community so vibrant. We rely on them, and I know that's a small recognition on the day. And
Thank you, Councillor Morris. That was a comment. Thank you. Councillor, you want to speak to the motion?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Councillor Nardi. I must add, there's been hard-working councillors as well, Councillor Nardi and Councillor Kidd, both involved with that day, and all that, eating all those quick ferry bread, nahari, yeah, competition. Very hungry young Australians eating a lot of, but it's a great day. I think we had pies.
Had a photo of you doing that.
I know, yeah. Pies, it'd be nice to have pies. But anyway, that's a very good day for everybody. And we do celebrate those quiet achievers. And there's a lot of quiet achievers out there. But thank you for... Now, we had a move and a seconder. We had some discussion over here. We had a spoken to the motion. Is anybody against the motion? No, I might put the motion. Those in favour? Say aye. Those against? I declare it carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Right, moving on to, can you all hear me okay? Good. Right, just before we start this, I'll just ask a couple of questions before I go any further. Just 2 6. We have the motion in front of you for Leeton Roxy Theatre, item 9.1, and there's a recommendation put by council. It was put forward by Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I am.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, could I just interject slightly?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can't hear what some of the other councillors are saying,
All right,
especially Councillor Edwards and Councillor Tyne. And so just for the public gallery, they might want to be able to hear what this discussion's about. So
All right.
I don't know if it's a mic issue, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. And also, Councillor Edwards, I need a seconder as well.
No, I was trying to explain.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is there something wrong? Okay, I'll sit like this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to move it. I'm okay to move what council has recommended the motion be, which is 1, 2, and 4 of the original. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Councillor, can you hear me? Councillor Edwards, I think you're.
So the
motion for the first time. You're not putting this one forward. You're putting the motion forward.
But I believe that. Okay. Well, maybe we should seek clarification from the General Manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think what Councillor Edwards has done is he's put forward his motion, then he's considered management's response, and if I understand Councillor Edwards correctly, he's happy to move the response on page 506 as the motion.
Instead of.
Yes.
Right, good.
And that would be fine, yep.
That's good. All right. So, in your report, councillors.
You need a seconder.
And need a seconder, which was Councillor Tyne. All right, good. And there is a response of the notice of motion from the staff. I'll read it out to everybody so everybody can hear at home. That the council receives and notes the correspondence from the Leeton Shire Ratepayers and Residents Association. Just 2 6. Just double checking, right? Sorry, gallery, sorry, councillors and people at home. I'll read it again, all right? That the council receives and notes the correspondence from the Lead Rate Shires Ratepayers and Association. 2, notes the mayor reply to the association. 3, requests the general manager to present a bi-monthly update to council from the Roxy manager, either as part of RAC. I better tell you what RAC stands for. Roxy Advisory Committee. It says RAC, so I better mention that. Minutes, or separated if the RAC has not met in time, which is the included matters such as programs, venue, utilisation, strategies, initiatives, financial performance, and community engagement. I think it's up on the screen, isn't it, as well? All right, we had to move in a seconder. Is there any question?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I think you have to double tap it now. Just clarification, bi-monthly in this context, does that mean twice a month or once every 2 months?
General Manager?
Once every 2 months, Mr.
Mayor. Councillor Edwards, you did move the motion, yes. You want to speak to it?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead.
Is that working now? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion is about more transparency, accountability and understanding Council's long-term intentions for the operation, governance and funding of one of our most significant community assets. I also acknowledge that since I lodged the original motion, a number of the concerns it raises has been addressed by the Mayor through a letter. This demonstrates the value of bringing these matters into the public arena and reinforce why this motion was necessary in the first place. The motion before us today delivers one of the principal outcomes I was seeking, which was the regular bi-monthly reporting to Council. While I would have preferred my original motion, I am prepared to support the motion as it currently stands because it represents genuine improvement to accountability. And I also now expect these commitments to be honoured. My connection to the Roxy is deeply personal. I saw my first opera there. I watched movies there as a child. I watched my cousins perform in Greece on that stage. And in many ways, the Roxy is where my passion for the performing arts began, a passion that ultimately led me to become a somewhat okay amateur actor. And this is precisely why I care so deeply about its future. I acknowledge the Mayor's response to the Leeton Shire Ratepayers and Residents Association. It confirms that there is currently no memorandum of understanding with the Roxy Institute of Performing Arts, and that any future MOU, memorandum of understanding, will only be considered once the Roxy Institute of Performing Arts has completed its establishment phase and developed its strategic and business case. That clarification is welcome, but however, it also demonstrates that many of the questions surrounding the future governance of the Roxy remain unanswered because those arrangements are yet to be developed. As councillors and as representatives of our community, it is entirely appropriate that we continue to seek clarity as those arrangements evolve, and you bet that I'll be continuing to ask more questions. What leaves me unconvinced, though, is that much of the response focuses on future intentions rather than present outcomes. The community has heard a great deal about what will happen. They want to know what is happening now. Residents are not asking what the Roxy might become in 12 or 18 months' time. They're asking why today there are so few movie screenings. They are asking why programming appears inconsistent. They're asking why successful productions are not always returning. And they're asking why they continue to travel to Griffith to see movies, as we have invested so heavily in our own theatre. The community has been asked to be patient for quite some time now. We have been told that improvements will come when Roxy 2 opens, when the new programming framework is implemented, and when RIPA is fully established. I sincerely hope these commitments are realised because our community deserves nothing less. But hope alone is not a governance strategy. Good governance requires transparency, it requires accountability, and it requires regular reporting to council so that council, and more importantly the community, can measure whether those commitments are actually being delivered. The Leeton Roxy Theatre represents one of the most significant investments this council ever made. With investment of that magnitude comes an equally significant obligation to be transparent, accountable and open with the people who fund it, the ratepayers. The introduction of bi-monthly reporting should not be seen as a burden. It should be seen as the minimum standard of accountability for a public-owned facility of this importance. I generally hope this marks a beginning to getting more understanding and clear guidance of what the governance structure of the Roxy is. I hope we can see a more vibrant and consistently programmed theatre. I hope we see regular movies, more performances and greater communities. I hope aspirations become reality, because ultimately the community will judge this council not by what we say in this chamber, but by what they see when they walk through the doors of the Roxy. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any comment? Councillor Kidd.
Is that working? Yay! Hey. Yeah, it is. Whilst I support the motion, I refute most of Councillor Edwards' comments. There are very good reasons for the why the criticisms he's levelled are not happening, and Councillor Edwards is quite aware of that. I suspect this is a little bit of grandstanding on his behalf and maybe some amateur dramatics. Now, If I may, presenting a bi-monthly update to council and the community is already happening. It is the minutes from the Roxy Advisory Committee, which is a significant committee with many councillors on it and a great many members of the community. Councillor, you're most welcome to come along to any meeting you like. Councillor Wright comes along every month, even though he's not a voting member, and listens to that. So I would refute what you've said. There are matters to do with movies that will not happen until we have a certificate of occupancy for Roxy 2. And we have said that all along. You knew that before you did write your letter. But what I would suggest to people, and I'd perhaps make a request to the Mayor, that he actually reads the letter that was written to the Leeton Shire Ratepayers and Residents Association, which quite clearly sets out the truth of the matter. Because unfortunately in that letter there are a number of misrepresentations. I would be quite happy to go through them one by one with people, but I don't think that this is the right forum for that, if they wish. But I would suggest that perhaps you could read that letter, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
I could do that, if I've got it in front of me. Someone got a letter in front of me? Yeah.
Oh, you go first. If you want.
All right, I'm going to read the letter. I've been asked by Councillor Kidd to read the letter, and bear with me, everybody. That's the letter to us. This one here, is that right? Councillor Kidd, the question you want me to read is the letter from the ratepayers to the Mayor.
If you wish, Mr. Mayor, you can, but I was referring more, I think everyone's read the letter from the ratepayers, but I was talking more specifically about the letter that you wrote in reply to Mrs. Cook's letter from the Ratepayers Association. Thank you.
You all hear me okay? Right.
Mr. Mayor, can I call a point of order?
Why is
Surely
that?
we've all read this, haven't we? Why do we read it again?
This is to the general public and to the people listening at home. They all need to have this. Councillor Kidd wants me to read this out to be a public document. All right. Dear Marina, I'm delighted to learn that the Leeton Ratepayers Association strongly interested in the Roxy Community Theatre. For those that were around through the extensive community consultation that informed for the redevelopment, they would know well the vision of the Roxy is to be open in new and exciting ways. This includes a place for great live entertainment, a heart of the town for meeting place, a home for local talent, including performing arts, education facilities, a cinema, civic hall and emergency centre. Advising the Council on all things Roxy is the Roxy Advisory Committee, which is made up of a mixture of councillors, community members. Details are listed on Council's website. The co-chairs are Bill Barwick and Aaron Draper. I'm not allowed to make names, I did anyway. The RAC, Roxy Advisory Committee, has recently endorsed a program framework for regular Roxy service run by Council. See attachment A. They have also endorsed a freeway partnership between Council Roxy team, Ripper, and the Dream team, also attached, item B. The RSC minutes are tabled routinely at council meetings. I will be sure to ask the GM to pass on the letter to the RSC too. Council cannot afford to deliver the full vision for Roxy alone, which is why we are thrilled that a group of motivated locals have offered to set up a Roxy Institute of Performing Arts, which is Ripper, a charitable organisation that will be able to seek grants and philanthropic funding to perform the values added to the council-run theatre. These are things such as education programs, film festivals, fashion shows, and other creative industries that will proposed by the community during the Roxy redevelopment engagement session. Council focus will be hire in and buy in for the theatre, weekly cinemas, conferences and town hall activities such as the Art Deco Festival Gala Dinner. The program is a mixture broadly reflecting of the industry standard. Attachments C and D give an overview of the breadth and range of activities at the Roxy, which is commendable for the brand new team finding the feet. Once Roxy 2 is open for the business and fully programmable framework is implemented, there will be at least 208 activities of the Roxy each year. Ripper is still in the establishment phase and there is much homework to be done by their board, which is under establishment. It is anticipated that this will take 12 to 18 months, whereafter they will be ready to be locked in a strategic plan and a business case. They will also have a better idea by then about the capacity or not to absorb some of the day-to-day functions of running the theatre, thereby possibly relieving council of some Roxy operational costs. It is only at that point that Ripper and council will discuss a memorandum of understanding. There is no memorandum of understanding, not even a draft currently on the table. An important point I wish to convey to Ripper will be helping council deliver the full community vision for the Roxy without costing ratepayers more than the current operation costs. There are no plans for council to fund Ripper for its operation. Ripper will raise its own operation fund. Council may, at some point, select a sponsor, something being run by Ripper, but that will be on a case-by-case basis for economic development proposals and would be subject to the separate report of council and council decisions. Sponsorship of this nature is not new, nor will it be exclusive to Ripper. The council having previously sponsored a local film movie and the premiere of the Roxy, for example. At the last RACA meeting in May, a three-way partnership and Roxy Theatre program framework was endorsed and recommended to council. These will be reviewed council for formal endorsement in July. But I have attached them for your interest in the meantime. The new program will coincide with receiving an occupation certificate for Roxy 2, which will be the primary cinema, which we hope to be very shortly happen. It is that point that council will launch a weekly movie program, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, where they are not clashing with other events. Each month there are also plans for seniors, youth and also mums with bubs movies. In regard to transparency, council reports on both a Roxy and a Ripper in its delivery program and quarterly report. There is also the council budget, which is a public document. Roxy staff report to RACA and RACA minutes are tabled with council, which is all in the public domain. Recent funding secured to assist with the setup of Ripper has been announced in the public media release. You can find the example here. We hear that the community is less informed about the upcoming movie programs and will undertake to announce that within the next 3 or so weeks to coincide with receiving building certificate for Roxy 2, which will be a permanent facility to be occupied and used by the general public. You are absolutely correct that keeping up the public engagement, information beyond just advertising is the key. We have done a lot that is in regards to the building and will turn our focus more strongly on the operation plans in the coming months. Rest assured, the council wholeheartedly shares your view about the community expectation as exposed in the 5 bullets in your letter. Further, ABBA has been rebooked for 2027. In closing, following an inquiry, Councillor Tyner was advised there is no current business case for Ripper and was subsequently provided the signed funding deed on the 10th of March 2026, where it is made clear that the business case is a deliverable at the end of the project. Thanks again for your interest and support of our beautiful Roxy Community Theatre. Any of your members who are interested in support may like to consider joining the Dream Team or the Roxy Volunteer. I myself find it very rewarding as a volunteer and positive vision for Leeton Roxy Theatre. I've done my very first Blue Light Disco back in 1980 something as a volunteer for Rotary. It's close to my heart as well. It's the energy of the Roxy team who have been doing the level best to present works during the same period Roxy 2 building works have been undertaken. I just want to convey that we are trying our best, right? Going back, as you know, what happened, we had three choices. The Roxy Theatre was not compliant, so we either knock it over, sell it, or do something. So we decided to do something, and we got some grant money to do it. Our first idea wasn't 100% happy with the community. They wanted a bit more to it, so we bought those two shops next door. And we're going through some teething problems, but rest assured, gallery, people at home and councillors, we are trying our level best to get this up and running and going forward. A few teething problems, but we will get it right. We were able to secure the funding, which will help us go a long way. And I believe that the council staff are doing their best and the volunteers are doing their best. Thank you very much.
That's because there's three people that want to speak.
Right. Councillor Tan, want to say a few words?
I would like to speak to the motion. Yeah, so clearly anything to do with the Roxy is a hot potato. My concern about the Roxy and the Ripper project was triggered when Council voted to endorse the grant funding to establish Ripper. I attempted to delay the vote because several councils are absent, and given the Roxy's long-standing sensitivity in the community, I believe the full governing...
You're going too fast, sorry.
I'm conscious of the 5
No,
minutes.
it's okay. No, just hard to understand.
I believe the full governing body should be present to debate it. Specifically, the use of the decision to proceed with unconfirmed minutes as a foundation for the motion was deeply concerning to me. But more broadly, my concern related to what happens after the grant money runs out. Specifically, I was worried that Ripper may become a legacy expense on council and therefore on the ratepayers. I have no issue with the New South Wales Government choosing to allocate $600,000 to this project. My issue is whether council will be left carrying ongoing costs once the grant period ends and Ripper is experiencing difficulties. That is not an outrageous concern. Yes, Mr Mayor, I acknowledge that I was provided with the funding deed. Indeed, it lists the development of a business plan and business strategy as grant outcomes. It is unusual for these to be developed after a grant is awarded, as they are normally required before submission to demonstrate viability and risk of failure mitigation strategies. Unfortunately, the funding deed did not reassure me that Ripper would not become a legacy expense on the Roxy. Further inquiry resulted in council providing me with the Ripper Establishment Milestones document. This document was marked confidential, issued personally to Councillor Tynan, which meant I could not openly discuss its contents with anyone, not even my colleagues, without risking a breach of confidentiality. Now that the document is publicly available, it can be discussed openly. Specifically, the milestone event between July and October 2027, in which it states, Memorandum of Understanding with Leeton Shire Council. Mr Mayor, I am very, very happy to learn that there is no MOU. But that certainly is not the impression that Ripper Establishment document gives you. Let me continue to number 6. Where are we? Right. Like Councillor Edwards, I will support the option put forward by Council to address the ratepayers' concerns. With that in mind, I'd like to pose the following questions for a response by the GM at her first engagement. Mr. Mayor, through to the GM, who penciled in the booking of Bjorn Again for 27th of March 2027? I have been informed by a reliable source that as of yesterday, the band's manager had no knowledge of this booking. Question 2. Mr. Mayor, to the GM, why was a community group quoted $5,000 to use the Roxy stage for a few hours? That is not a community-friendly price. Keep shaking your head, Councillor Kidd. Mr. Mayor, could you keep him quiet, Mr. Mayor?
Everybody, please, just...
No.
Councillor...
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
Councillor, please. Right.
You are the Deputy Mayor who should be modelling it. Mr. Mayor, earlier this year, efforts were made by the community to bring the Australian Bee Gees and Seventh Wonder, a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, to the Roxy, a community facility. Did a lack of follow-up result in these bands being told to approach the Griffith Regional Theatre instead? Many Leeton residents attended these shows in Griffith, and many Griffith residents would likely have attended their performance in Leeton. As we had first dibs on the bands, why didn't we seize the opportunity? What's going on? Mr. Mayor, through the GM, the fourth question. At a previous council meeting, the lack of movie programming during school holidays was raised by several councillors. Why is there no programming for the Roxy for the first 1.5 weeks of the school holidays? As evidenced by the handout tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for addressing substantial community concerns and embarking on an initiative to more fully and transparently engage with the community about Roxy matters.
All right, there's 2 points
Councillor Mayton would like to also say something.
Councillor Maiden. You're off now. Go back on. Yeah.
Sorry.
Test, yep, okay, that's working. I just want to say that I'm happy to support the motion on the table, noting the response from you, Mr. Mayor, and the response to the notice of motion. As you are all aware, all the councillors around the table are aware that I'm very passionate about the Roxy and that space being accessible to the wider community. It is disappointing to note that many members of our local community are yet to walk through the doors of the theatre since it has reopened. Whilst that might be a personal choice, I also think that some of that can be attributed to the programming and lack of movie screenings. I'm happy to read that regular movies will be scheduled moving forward, and I believe to build an audience, we need that regular scheduling so that people can look and go, okay, we run regularly on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, whatever it might be. I do understand that if we have a live show like Bjorn Again or something along the lines of that, there was talk of 2 different shows per month that will come in. And I get that the theatre is not just a movie theatre, so noting that. What I guess when I speak to there being more movies at the theatre, I see that as being accessible at a price point level. So when you're paying $20 or less, you can think about going along. Some people won't be able to afford a show at $50 or $60, and it's great to have those types of shows, but we need to be showing both. Just noting the new format of the cinema screenings, and there's some good ideas there. Just an idea, and maybe it's not something I can table now, and I could bring it to the Roxy Advisory Committee. Good ideas around the mums and bubs and seniors, run as a matinee, but I do wonder if we might limit our audience if we call it that. I just think call it a matinee, and then everyone kind of comes along to that session if they're available. I think that's probably it from me, but I think just, reading the response tonight is encouraging. I've seen the programming for the holiday. I was quite disappointed by that, only because we were looking at one, like each movie was just once, and there's so many, even for myself, I'd love to see, and you go, I can't go that day, maybe there's another day. So I think it would really be great to show, if we've got a movie coming, show it 2 or 3 times, and maybe that opportunity to show it a 4th time, and just some of the times there. but yeah, that's probably it from me. But I just want to see the Roxy with the doors open, people going along, and everyone being able to enjoy it rather than just a certain group of the community.
Right, Councillor Nardi.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have many of these conversations with Councillor Maidham, as we're both very passionate about this from our age perspective level and growing up with the Roxy, and understanding that the Roxy means a lot to people still, not just for events but for movies as well. Councillor Maidham and I also sit on the Youth Council group, and we did have our last meeting today. And I would like to just ask a question in regards, if I could, through to you, Mr. Mayor, to the General Manager, just in regards to the process of the Certificate of Operation. I know that we have been waiting on that for Roxy 2. Do we have a estimated timeline or a rough timeline of when that could be open, please?
General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is that working? Yes. The theatre is ready and the building certifiers have been notified. They are waiting for a fire compliance certificate to come from the New South Wales Fire Brigade, which is estimated to be about another 10 days. And then after that, they'll be able to come down and look at the place in detail and offer occupation certificate. We've got no reason to believe occupation certificate won't be supplied. So fingers and toes crossed that Roxy 2 will be able to be used in 2 to 3 weeks' time. I'll keep councillors and the community notified. We can't tell the building certifiers what to do. They're an independent company that does that, but certainly that's the intention. We just have to wait for the fire compliance.
Thank you. And secondly, I'd just like to note for people at home or in the gallery, we have one of the largest youth council meetings that we've ever had within our council. I think we have something like 16 to 18 children who are part of this group, and we actually have them internally voted for a mayor and a deputy mayor within themselves so that they can give their, youthful input on what they would like to see for the Shire. And something that was brought to my attention today that I just would like to mention from an adult perspective is that sometimes as adults, when we're on social media, we like to discuss things openly and forget that sometimes young kids can take offence to things that have been said. I think that at the end of the day, our youth are trying to do the best that they can and understand that they are just here to give an input when it comes to things that they're passionate about. And I can tell you very much that these children are very passionate about not only the Roxy Theatre, but our Shire as well. And a lot of this programming that we see here today is really good feedback that we're getting back from the children, and they want to be involved. And, discussing things like having their own movie nights and being a part of the Roxy, even talking about helping out in the bar so that we can take some pressure off some of the staff that we utilise, that Sue has a great team of the Dream Team to come forward, and having a place for them to hang out and be comfortable within a space that it's very hard if you're not interested in anything else. So I'd just like to be mindful, just to remind people to be mindful when you're on social media, to remember that the young kids they are trying their best and they are giving their input as much as they can. But I can honestly say that not only is the team that's down at the Roxy, but Sue and the Dream Team and all of the people that help, it's a fantastic job what they're doing, and I think that we've just got to remember to support each other and back one another as we get the Roxy to evolve moving forward. I'm very happy to see that there's a program here with more movies into the future and not just the events that have been rolling through in the last couple of months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Nardi. Very, very passionate, and we're all very passionate about the Rocks, that's for sure. Those questions from Councillor Tynan, I think we'll take them on notice. Right, So, does anybody else wants to talk? I think we all agree with the motion, which is fantastic. Has anybody got any more comments, Councillor, you're not supposed to speak more than once, but I'll let you do that.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. I just forgot to say something that I had written down here and I kind of put it to the side. I think there's been comments that the lack of movies has been as a result of Roxy 2 not being completed. And I just want to say I don't entirely buy that because the main auditorium and the main screen has been available during this time. So I just wanted to put that on the table and to end with, I think it's great that we're going to have Roxy 2, 48-seat cinema, but I just want us to remember that when people go to the Roxy, that sometimes they really like to sit in that main auditorium. I know it won't be every screening, but I do think we need to allow that and have times that they can utilise it. But I appreciate that, Councillor Kidd, but I think there's been talk from some of the staff that, you know, that would be where everyone would go into that second cinema. And that's all.
Councillor Morris, you have a light on?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's probably just to make a few comments because I've been a part of this 10-year journey and it has been a journey, and we've tried to bring the community along with us to get to this point, with a few hurdles along the way, but it's certainly, we're almost at the pointy end now and we've got there. Look, it's very difficult. So we've had a facility that all of a sudden we've opened the doors and wanted, everyone has had the biggest range of expectations of a theatre. When you're programming, obviously there's forward planning that needs to be done and programs need to be booked in. Nothing's going to be perfect in that first year, 2 or 3. We've sit there dormant. We've got the community's expectations from everything that you could ever imagine. This is a start. We've made a start. Yes, there's fine-tuning to do. There's no doubt to say that there's not more to be done. And we need the community's input. We also need the community support all these activities. We had a theatre that had movies and often it was open for 20 or 30 people there. We can't keep a theatre open like that. We don't want to go back to those times. So I'm probably more putting a challenge out to the community. Everyone is doing their best and working in the right direction. Please come forward with your ideas, but also we need you to support it. We need you to walk through those doors. We need you to buy a ticket. We need you to bring your family, friends, relatives, residents from other shires and attend whatever we have on, whether it's a movie, whether it's a theatre show, whether it's a live show, whether it's our Stedford. So mine is more to the community. We've got this far. We're nearly there. We're fine-tuning it. Please come and support us. We've all put in a lot of time and hours over a lot of years to get it to this point, and we need you to support it. It is very heartfelt from all of us, and you wouldn't put yourself through so many meetings, I can tell you, when nights out, if you weren't passionate about it. But we really need your support. I see the cinema program for the July school holidays has come out. It's not going to be perfect and it's not going to suit everyone, but there's probably enough of a range there that if we all bought a ticket and got there, there's more people walking through that door, Mr. Mayor, and that's so. I would just like to probably table that everyone's heart's there. We're getting there. Thank you.
I'm going to allow, because we have a gallery here as well and at home, I think we all agree with the motion. But if anybody wants to speak, give their comments, they're quite happy to do that. No, everybody's happy? Yeah? Right. No, Gary can't talk, unfortunately. No. Yes. Look, I recognise the passion and the commitment everybody has for the Roxy. It is early days. I understand people worrying about the cost of the Roxy. I understand that. But it's an asset we've got. Like I said before, we had a choice of knocking it over or selling it or doing something about it. And we are doing something about it. And it's early days. It's a facility for all sorts of things happening there. So it's going to be hard to keep everybody happy, but we're going forward. And like Councillor Morris says, we just want everybody to embrace it. I think everybody's on the same wavelength here. Everybody wants it to happen. It might not happen exactly how you want to happen because we've got so many different people. But I think we're all working in the same direction. And now we're going to have our bi-monthly reports, although we have the different Rack. By the way, I might just ask those councillors who are on that committee, can you put your hand up? Right, good. And then we had some observers, I think, Councillor Maton, you go observe, don't you? Councillor Wright, yeah. So, and also Councillor Tiffin. So rest assured, gallery and community, we have enough councillors going along to keep an eye on what's going on and to try and keep the best we have coming from there. So thank you very much. I'll close the debate. Oh, right, yeah. Councillor Edwards, you have the right to close the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank the Leeton Ratepayers Association for bringing forth this letter. I think there's some of us in this chamber who share your concerns. And I will probably not say anything else in fear of breaking your standard of decorum, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. All right, so we had a movement and a seconder. We had the discussion. I'll put the motion. Those in favour, say aye. Those against, I declare it's carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Now we're moving on to the confidential part of it. Thank you, Councillor. It is now recommended that Council enters into a closed session to discuss 10.1 sale of 3 blocks of Vance Estate Stage 3. So, Gallery, thank you for coming. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your energy. Hope you heard what happened and see what happens at the council meeting. All right. Thank you very much. For those who are watching at home, we'll go into confidential and we'll come back out again if you want to hang around. Could I have a mover and a seconder for moving into confidential? Councillor Maton.
We should have said,
We can have the motion.
Yeah. Councillor Maton, second by Councillor Edwards. Why do I do that?
they'll have to wear a headband.
I know.
a lot.
He is under in time then. If you read it quiet.
Although he's got a sales team, we'd like to have him.
All right. Well, thank you very much, staff. During the closed council, one resolution was passed, and I will ask the General Manager to read out the resolution that was made in closed council for item 10.1, sale of 3 blocks at the Vancer stage 3. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In tonight's confidential session, Council resolved to approve the sale of lots 113, 114 and 116 in Vance Estate Stage 3 to RWW Group Pty Limited at the current sale price of $220,000 plus GST per lot. Council's also approved a payment arrangement whereby the group pays 20% of the total purchase price at settlement and the remaining balance over 5 years in equal instalments. Council's also resolved to charge interest annually on the outstanding balance at the current cash rate plus 1% and will negotiate security provisions acceptable to both parties in the event the group was unable to honour its commitment. Lastly, the Council's authorised the Mayor and GM to execute all necessary documentation associated with the sale and payment arrangement and will be requiring the purchaser to meet all costs associated with any consolidation required for the proposed development. That's consolidation of the lots. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, General Manager, and thank you everyone for attending tonight. We've had a quite eventful night tonight, which is great. And so with no further business, I meet in the close at 8:28.